So this is not a typical Masala Dose. This is the Open Butter Masala Dose. Oh, I love this. I love this Kesari Bath. This is so good. We're on Narayan Shastri Road in Chamundipuram and we are here to taste the Mysore Masala Dose at Gayathri Tiffin Room, or what is more popularly known in Mysuru as GTR. Namaskara. ಏನು ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲರ್ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ?
ನಮ್ಮದು ಮಸಾಲ ದೋಸೆ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲರ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ.
ಮಸಾಲ ದೋಸೆ, ಮೈಸೂರು ಮಸಾಲ ದೋಸೆ.
ಇದು ಮೈಸೂರು ಮಸಾಲ ಅಲ್ಲ, GTR ಮಸಾಲ ದೋಸೆ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಫೇಮಸ್.
GTR ಮಸಾಲ.
GTR ಮಸಾಲ.
ಓಕೆ. ಒಂದು GTR ಮಸಾಲ ದೋಸೆ ಕೊಡಿ, ಒಂದು ಇಡ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡಿ, ಒಂದು ಕೇಸರಿ ಬಾತ್ ಕೊಡಿ.
ಉಪ್ಮಾ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡಿ, ಉಪ್ಮಾನು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ.
ಉಪ್ಮಾನು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸರಿ, ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಉಪ್ಮಾ ಕೊಡಿ, ಫಿಲ್ಟರ್ ಕಾಫಿ ಸಹ ಕೊಡಿ. I must say this is a very reasonable place. Not a single dish is over 25 or 30 rupees. Only the masala dosa is 45 rupees and a cup of coffee, the princely sum of 10 rupees. Suru masala dosa kodi. Amele adella amele bartane.
ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ ಬೇಕು.
First masala dosa kodi nane. So I've got my GTR masala dosa. Let's taste this dosa now. There's no table service here, self-service. It's all very good, all very efficient, very quick in fact. So now I am told that the Mysore Masala Dose has that kempu or red chutney, but this one doesn't. So this just has that palya inside, the aloo-gadde palya. I love the roast of this dosa. Now this dosa feels soft and crisp to the touch. I'm going to go all the way in. Oh, I can see that ghee glistening out of the dosa. I'm going to taste a bite first, just of the dosa and the palya, the aloo-gadde palya that's encased in the dosa. That dosa has the crunch in the bite. With every bite, you go crunch, 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 and it's yet has that softness. I'm going to taste the dosa just by itself. It's got that delightful crunch. Of course, I love that buttery flavor of the ghee that you can taste when you have the dosa all by itself. Now with some of the coconut chutney. You have the fresh coconut and then you have the spice of the green chilies. So the dosa, the palya and the chutney all in one bite. You know that aloo-gadde palya is seasoned so well. The potatoes are soft, creamy, and then there's a generous amount of onions. So you bite into the creamy potatoes and then you have the crunch of the onion too, and of course the flavor that comes from the onion. And the coriander, you can see a coriander stalk here which gives it that sprightly freshness on the palate. This is a delicious palya. I lost that coriander stalk there. This is not a thin dosa, this is a thick dosa, which makes it great to just scoop up that chutney. I love that sprightly spiciness of the chutney here. ಸರಿ ಸರ್, ನನಗೆ ಹಾಗಾದರೆ ಈಗ ಇಡ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತು ಕೇಸರಿ ಬಾತ್ ಉಪ್ಪಿಟ್ಟು ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಕೊಡಿ. So I've got my steaming hot idli here. So I love the porous texture of this idli. So there you go. So I've got my idli and I've got my chow chow bath, which is the upma and the kesari bath. Chow chow bath ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ? Mix ಇದೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ chow chow. Sorry. So I've learned something new. Because the upma, the uppittu and the kesari bath are served together, they call it the chow chow bath. It's a mixed concoction on a plate. I've got the idli here. I certainly like the texture of the idli. It's very porous, as you can see on the outside. Of course, out here they serve you the idli with the sambar and the chutney. I'm going to taste the idli first just by itself, just to get a feel of this idli at GTR or Gayathri Tiffin Room. Idli has this grainy texture. I almost get the flavor of it being steamed in a leaf of some sort. Now I don't know if it is, but that's the kind of flavor, the mildly vegetal flavor that I get. I'm going to taste this with the chutney now. This is a nice thick chutney. The chutney has that spicy kick. So it's got the coconut. I think it also has some ground lentils and the chilies. So the coconut has that fresh flavor, and then you have the ground lentils that gives it that body, and then you've got the chili that just lifts that chutney up. The sambar is an orangish brown. I can see some vegetables here. This I think is the mango cucumber. There's some tomatoes in this as well. It has a gentle sweetness of a typical South Canara sambar. Oh, so good. So good. I'm going to dunk the idli into the sambar. I also have a bit of the vegetable, the mango cucumber or the saute kai. That idli has absorbed all that sambar. Oh, I love the grainy texture of the idli. You know, the texture of the idli serves very well to absorb all the flavors in the sambar. And I'm also going to dip it a wee bit into the chutney. So I've got my complete bite of the idli, sambar and chutney on this spoon. So good. And while I was dissecting my idli, the establishment recommended that I also taste two other dosas here. So this is the Open Butter Masala. As you can see, it's got all that red chutney, definitely looks spicy. And there's a lovely dollop of butter here. And then you have the Green Dosa that they call it. It's a thick dosa and served with a sagu and a chutney. And the dosa is studded with all sorts of green herbs, and that's why it's called the Green Dosa. So no points for guessing that one. Let's taste this dosa now. So texture wise, this dosa is almost like an uttappam, a thick dosa, and it's roasted nicely at the bottom. So you've got this darkish golden brown crust and all the herbs sprinkled over the dosa or perhaps into the batter. That certainly is a heavy dosa as compared to the GTR Masala Dose that I just tried. If you have one of these, you're happily sated at least for a couple of hours. So you've got that crunch as you first bite into the dosa, and then you've got the softness of the dosa and all those herbs. So you taste a bit of the dill, not too much, just a lingering flavor. Let's taste this with the chutney. That chutney just makes everything come alive. Let's taste this now with the sagu. So vegetable sagu, so I see some beans, there's some carrots here. This is certainly a tasty vegetable sagu. Taste the bite of this dosa just with the sagu and some of that chutney. I'm going to come back to this dosa later, but I need to try the Open Masala Dose here. The Open Masala Dose is a nice thick dosa. It's gotten a little cold while I was tasting the other dishes here. It's a slightly thick dosa, and then it's got this dollop of the aloo gadde palya. You got some chutney here, and you've got a dollop of the butter. Spread this butter on your dosa or dosa, and then you taste a bite. I'm going to taste a bite of the dosa on its own. You know, there's a hint of sweetness to this podi. When you look at this podi, it comes across as a fiery, spicy podi. But I think when mixed with the butter, I think all that fat from the butter tones down the spices in the podi. So all that you feel on your palate is a gentle warmth of that podi and that creamy note of the butter. Some palya with it now. So I've got the dosa and I've got the palya. You know, this palya is soft, it's creamy. It's almost like a tempered potato mash. That's how soft and creamy this palya is. Oh, I love this. I've got a bit of the chutney in this bite now. So I've got a thick dosa, cradling all that creamy potatoes, and with the combination of the buttery notes from the butter, and then of course the mellow spice with a tinge of sweetness from the podi. Well, this is definitely a dosa that you must try if you find yourself in Mysuru at GTR. You know, all along I was tasting the part of the dosa with the butter smeared on it, but I just tasted a part of the dosa without the butter. And in this bite I can certainly feel the spicy aggression of the red paste that's been smeared on this dosa. I can feel that chili heat. This is certainly a dosa I will happily return to. Well, the last of my plates here at GTR, and this is the upma, the uppittu, and the Kesari Baths. That in combination is the chow chow bath. I'm going to taste the uppittu first, the upma, the kara bath. Quite a few names for this. Oh, this is soft. This is soft and steaming hot. So I can see some tomato, I can see some curry leaves, some fried lentils. Let's taste this. Very gently flavored. Here's the soft, grainy texture of the semolina, just with a hint of spice. We've also got some tomato here and some onions. I'm going to have some of the curry leaf in this bite. So if you like your uppittu or upma, very mellow in flavors, very gently flavored, you'll like this. I need my upma to pack a little more punch. But perhaps if I were to taste this with the chutney, this upma would be singing a different tune altogether. Oh, I love this chutney. This chutney has the ability to lift up almost anything in terms of flavors. You taste the coconut, you taste that coarse texture of the roasted lentils, you taste that spice in that chutney. I think it does so much to lift this otherwise very mellow, very delicately flavored upma. Time now to taste the Kesari Bath. I love the texture of this Kesari Bath. You know, when I look at it and I see all that ghee that's glistening on top, this almost glistens and almost resembles in texture to a badam halwa. That's what it reminds me of when I look at it. I love the fact that it's restrained in terms of sweetness. You almost don't taste the graininess that you expect to taste when you're tasting a Kesari Bath made of semolina. This is almost velvety, almost silken in its texture. Oh, I love this. I love this Kesari Bath. This is so good. I've got a raisin there. I love the fact that it's restrained in its sweetness. I love the silken, velvety texture of the Kesari Bath. None of the graininess that you find from semolina, and that gentle pop of a raisin when you find one. There's little else in this Kesari Bath. Of course, the ghee that goes into the making of something as lush and as seductively delicious as this. I love the texture of this Kesari Bath. The way it holds on to the back of your spoon. Wow. This is a dish that I can happily finish and perhaps also order a couple more. That's how good this Kesari Bath was. After tasting all those dishes, time to wash it all down with a nice cup of filter coffee. Sir, coffee sikboda? I like my coffee to be strong, piping hot, and with as little sugar as possible. I want to taste the coffee just on its own. So I've got my hot, strong filter coffee, just the way to end a tiffin meal here at GTR. It's raining here in Mysuru, and when it's raining there are always flies around, so we've got some of that. Not too bad though. The sort of coffee that makes you happy after a delicious meal. So if you're in Mysuru, definitely look up GTR or Gayathri Tiffin Room. It's got a 60-year tradition, but beyond that, it's got some delicious tiffin. From the Gayatri Masala Dose to the Open Butter Masala Dose, and of course that lush, silken, velvety Kesari Baths. I'm thinking about it even as I'm sipping on this coffee. GTR or Gayathri Tiffin Room definitely deserves a visit. So check it out the next time you find yourself in Mysuru. Until the next edition of Gourmet on the Road, stay safe and happy eating or drinking.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, share and leave a comment. If you'd like to support Food Lovers TV, do log on to foodlovers.in and hit the Support Food Lovers banner. Links in the description below. Happy eating!